Hi there, my name's Pete. I'm a solo gigging musician. I'm on here today to basically show you a thing called a Ryger Midi Pro. It's not on the market yet. This is a prototype model. I'll tell you the story behind that before we get any further into it. Been trying for about 3-4 years now to try and find something to control my power cans. I've got the LED flat power cans, DMX control ones. Tried countless numbers of controllers to get the things to clock DMX via MIDI, and nothing worked. I've tried Chevet's, American DJs, well, you name it, I've tried it. But basically they all claim MIDI spec and none of them work. I dare say they do something through MIDI, but nothing you can actually use. There are various units out there, higher end stuff, which could control complete theatres, etc. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend a fortune for a sledgehammer to crack a walnut, really. But I couldn't find anything that did it. In the search, I went back to a company called Ryger, who are a UK-based company. I used to use one of their controllers years and years ago, and it was a really good little unit. But at the time, they got nothing. They had a controller which was in the same box as that one there, but it didn't really do full MIDI spec sort of thing. It had its uses, but not anything I needed, nothing the people on the forums would need either, I don't think. But when I spoke to them, they said, well, tell us what you want and we'll have a look at it. So about 2 months ago we had that conversation, and within weeks they got back to me and said, we sort of like the idea, tell us what you want to see. So I gave them basically a checklist of things that I would like to see on a control unit, and they went away with it and came back a few weeks after that and said, we think we've cracked it, and here it is. They sent me this one down to try out, which well, it was fantastic actually for a company to do that. It's not the finished item, it's got an overlay on there just so you can see what it will look like. But they've put together this little unit with everything I asked basically. And the nice thing about it is they've actually designed the scenes that are in there to go with musicians as opposed to disco, so you haven't got lots of disco type lighting, you've got stuff which is actually usable for bands, solos, duos, whatever, using MIDI. I'll run you down basically what the thing does. It's got 99 programs with various patterns, scenes, chases, etc. And like I say, they're all geared towards live musicians as opposed to discos. The clever thing they've done with it, they've managed to make the thing clock in different methods so you can actually follow your tracks. I won't go into the great detail, but there's 3 or 4 different methods of clocking. The main ones is the default one. I think it's program 100, you send that to it to start with, and that will put it into default mode, so the preset speeds, etc. are in operation. Beyond that, if you want to clock the thing accurately, you can nominate a second MIDI channel on boot up. Say channel 10, and you want to clock it to something like the kick drum, so you give it that note number, that MIDI channel, and every time it sees the kick drum, it will go through another step in the scene. So if you've got scenes which are chasing, it'll chase to the same speed as the bass drum. The best method I found actually, which doesn't tie up another MIDI channel, is basically if you give it another one of the settings between 100 and 103, one of the program changes in there. Every time it sees program change 124 from then on, when it sees it, it'll do the same as the kick drum did basically. It'll step through the next part of the scene. So you can basically chase the things as fast as slow as you want and accurately clock it to your backing track. And I found that's the easiest way. A, it doesn't tie up a second MIDI channel, and B, you can sort of modify it outside the instruments. You're not controlled by the instruments. You can change the fades as well. You can, from 114 to 123, you can actually fade the thing down from 0 to full brightness. And like I say, with the clocking speed from 104 to 113 program changes, you can actually set your own speed up as well. Although it's not particularly clocked to MIDI, you can have fast or slow speeds. So it's fairly independently controlled if you want it to be, basically just by program changes. I emphasise the program change things because most of the other MIDI controllers I was using were using note on, note off information, which is a complete pain in the backside when you're using MIDI. Mainly because when you get to the end of your backing track and you get that note off sort of final thing to sort of shut your MIDI sound canvas down or whatever sound module, you end up with no lights. So they've gone for the program change is what I suggested, and it works much better. Beyond that, the thing is controllable manually as well if you want it to be. There's foot switches which they put on the side. The main thing that you can do with that is basically you can go into a manual mode in which you can access the first 10 program scenes totally manually. So if you've got MIDI breakdown, any problems with your MIDI, or you just want to override it, you can control it that way. When you're in MIDI mode again, there's one of the foot switches then becomes a favourite scene foot switch, so you can quickly get to any scene of the 99 that you want to nominate. So if you've got a particular favourite and you want to get to it quickly, you just hit the button and it goes. Similarly, you can black the thing out in the same. The other foot switch will act as a blackout if you need to. So it's complete manual control as well as MIDI control should you need it. As I say, it's built in the UK. It's in a steel chassis. It's built like a tank, and the quality is unbelievable. It's not one of these things full of Chinese rubbish. It's a really nice bit of kit, and if it's anything like the Ryger I had 10-15 years ago, it's going to last forever. It's a hell of a good unit. What I'll do now is I'll go across and set a track running. I'm going to do this very quickly. I'll set a track going with the lights going. Say the colours will be a bit funny because the usual thing with a video camera, it doesn't pick the colours out that well, but you'll get an idea what the thing can do, and you'll see it working basically with MIDI channels running and not getting upset and crashing like a lot of the other units were doing. It shows the stability of the whole thing. So I'll do that now. Right, I'm set up here with a backing track. I'll just show you it very quickly. If you look here, while the backing track's running, that's the program change that's going through at the time in the lights. So I'll bring you round to the lights very shakily halfway through this, and you can see what's going on. So I'll just run the track, and you can see the program changes going. I'll run that track again, you can see the lights going. I've basically set a clocking track every quarter bar with the 124 message. I just pasted it right across. Virtually did this piece that you're going to hear now. I've done it in about 5 minutes, so there's no time and no artistic stuff in there, just to demonstrate the thing working with the tracks working, with the rest of the MIDI channels running on. Right, track's running now, you'll see the lights go. So there we go. Sorry, it's not a Hollywood production, this one. I'm not going to get a job as a director, but hopefully it shows you what's going on. Like I say, I'm a musician. I've got nothing to do with Ryger. Basically, this was all based on a phone call where they agreed to sort of take this on, which I found amazing. Really helpful, guys. The unit is going to be a winner. It's going to come in at the sub £200 mark, I'm assured. I don't think there's anything else on the market like it, to be honest with you, and there's certainly nothing of that quality. What I'll do is well, it's probably already on screen already, but if you check my email, if anybody wants any more information, if you want to get in touch with me, or in fact get in touch with Ryger direct, they'll tell you more about it. But if somebody wants an independent opinion on this, by all means get in touch with me and I'll tell you how I'm getting on with it. Because I'm going to get cracking on programming this thing as soon as possible and get it into the show. I'll let you know in the future how it's going. So far it's so good. Thanks very much.